go. You can always hit file the files as you go. You can always hit file save, or you can just really get comfortable with doing Control S, because you're going to be hitting that key a ton throughout your software engineering. So let's go ahead and run it. What's my favorite color? It's blue. What's my favorite food? It's pizza. I typed pizza wrong, so that's going to be wrong. Golf. A video game, esports. And basketball team is the Heat. And I got 80% of the questions right. So this is working. So this works. And let's look at why, right? So we got our 2 question lists and answer lists, and we know that 0, index location 0 is favorite, in the question list is what's my favorite color, and then blue. What's my favorite food? Pizza. What's my favorite sport? Golf. What's my favorite video game? Wii Sports. What's my favorite basketball team? Heat. So these have to match up 1 to 1. We have to make sure that the 0 location of the list is our question, and the 0 location of that question is in the answer list. They have to match. If they don't, you're going to give back a whole bunch of false wrongs, right? Because if we go ahead and we say pizza and golf are actually switching locations, and we go ahead and we run through this and we say blue, pizza, this time we'll spell it right, golf, sports, and Heat. I'm just going to type that correct. You're going to see we got 60% right, but these are all the right questions, all the right answers. The problem is when we answered pizza for food, it's the answer it's expecting is golf. And that's not the correct expected value there, as we're iterating and passing in the index locations of our iteration. So definitely not a good way to do that. And I do want to show you this actually, and we can. Yeah, I think it's time. In VScode, there's this really cool thing. There's what's called the run and debug. And if we actually put like a breakpoint here, so if you look at the VScode, we can go to line 31 and we'll hit a little breakpoint. We can hit this run and debug. And we could just hit run and debug. It's going to say, what kind of file do you want to debug? And we're just going to say a Python file. And what this is going to do is it's going to run the program for us, and it's going to stop at the breakpoint. And why is this important, right? Well, we can see the index location it's calling, and we'll put a breakpoint up here too. Actually, we'll wait 1 second. So we can see the question list and answer list. We can actually hover over them, and it will show us the value in each index location. So the length is 5. Here's index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing with the answer list. We can actually open up these globals on the left and click through and see our values here as well. And we'll close those. And then as we step through, so this is the actual way that we step through the code with the debugger. When we hit our next iteration, you'll see that I will change. Oh, I have to give some prompt, of course. Blue. So you'll see the question correct amount iterated, the index location iterated. We'll hit the play next again. It will ask me what's my food. This time I'll say cake. As you see, the question correct amount stayed 1, because obviously that's not the correct answer. And the iteration is at 2 now, because now we're at our second index location. We're on to our second question, which is what's my favorite sport. So as we're debugging this, we can actually put another breakpoint up here. And when we hit this next, we'll actually jump into this next function, and we'll see that the question is what is my favorite sport, and the answer is golf. So you can actually see what's going on here and how all this code is working. So if I wanted to get like real crazy, I can just put breakpoints everywhere, hit the next button, get my what's my favorite sport. I'll do like Wii Sports. You can see that now it's going to say user response is Wii Sports. We're going to take the lower amount to that, compare it to the answer, which is golf, which is wrong. Obviously, I answered in my video game. So this is obviously not going to be true. So I'm expecting it to return false. It passes true, because this conditional is not true. And we're going to return false, which we do. And we'll go to our next question, right? And our next question is, what is my favorite video game? And this time I know for sure it's Wii Sports. And this time we should hit our true, which we do. And we'll jump out of that. And that is our basic how to debug in Python. And we'll just remove all the breakpoints now that we know how this code is working. And we'll hit continue, and we'll finish this off with a regular Heat. And we got 60% of the questions right. Why is that? Because I put cake for my food, which obviously it's pizza. And then for my favorite sport, I put Wii Sports because I goofed on it and it was asking me my favorite sport on my favorite video game, and that should have been golf. I guess that's the problem when your favorite video game is also a sports title theme. So little mistake there, not a big deal. So now that so this is a decent way to organize your project. I think a very beginner to intermediate level for a question Q&A game. Very, very good way. The big downfalls for this, in my opinion, and I'll show you some. Let's say we add a new question. We'll just call it some new question. I'll run this program. So what when we ran the debugger, what it did is it put a debugger console down here. I'm just going to close this so I can get back to my regular PowerShell console. And then we'll run our program. We'll do our blue. My favorite food, we'll do my pizza. Favorite sport, we'll do my ball. Yep, Wii Sports. And then basketball team will do. And then, boom, our program's going to blow up. All we did is we added a new question. Well, we didn't add a new answer. This is kind of where, like, I think the failure comes in. Because we're iterating over the length of the questions, if there's not a question if the questions and the answers don't have the same length, or, I mean, the answer list theoretically could be bigger than the question list, those answers just won't matter. But because we're ranging up to the max length of the question list, what's going to happen is when we go to the last question, if there's not an answer that associates with it, we're going to get an index out of bounds error. So it says list index out of range. And the reason we're going to get that is because when we pass in that index location, if there's no valid answer in that index, sorry, I'm lower my desk real quick, guys. If there's no valid index in that answer list, it's going to give us an index out of range problem, which is exactly what we got here. So definitely something to kind of be aware of is a strong possibility that that is a big, I think, like pitfall in this type. So we're going to take away that last fifth question we asked. Some new question, we'll take away okay. And this is a definite pitfall of using lists for this. Cool, very cool. Let's keep some hydration going. This is like more talking I do in my whole day. Very easy to get, dry in the throat, so to speak, from all the talking. So definitely got to stay hydrated.